You look great today. Or, wow, I hope that works out for you because you really deserve a break. How do compliments like that make you feel? What does it feel like inside? What's the urge for you to respond? That's called reciprocity.
You're very generous. You're kind to strangers and children. And when you stand in the snow, you look like an angel.
Compliments, unprompted, unsolicited, make us feel good. We're seen, we're noticed.
That's maybe the best compliment of my life.
That concept, that urge, that need we have of responding in kind is an important feature in good marketing.
I don't quite get how that's a compliment for me.
It's all around us. It happens in everyday life. And if you're a good human being, you probably experience reciprocity and do it to other people. You give them something for free, something nice, something generous. Or as the old expression goes, if your mama raised you well, we can surely tell.
It's hard for me to say these kind of things because that ain't my way. But if I could just unzip myself and step out and be someone else, I want to be you.
So that idea, reciprocity, is all around us. It's misunderstood, it's abused, it's overused.
Pay me a compliment, Melvin. I need one. A compliment is something nice about somebody else.
But it's so essential to good, healthy marketing. So let's take a look at what it is, how it functions, why we need to do more of it, the good kind, and figure out how we can improve our marketing and maybe even the quality of our lives. Hi, I'm James Callahan, and this is The Do-Over Show, and I have to tell you, one of the most important things of a successful do-over is learning to pay attention to things that we ignored before, things that are ordinary, things that are good and healthy, things that can actually help us in our do-over, things that we just didn't pay attention to, but now when we have a chance or we're forced to, we get to pay attention to them. And this idea of reciprocity is one of the most essential. Yeah, I know I say that a lot. Most essential. It's like having 10 top priorities. But it's really up there. It's significant. And understanding it, how to avoid abusing it, and how to use it to your advantage, it will be an important part of a successful do-over. So reciprocity is all around us. And like I said, if you're a good person, it's probably part of your life. You probably practice it every day. You're just nice to people and you say nice things to people. You might even greet strangers, not because of bad reasons, just because you want to say hi. One of the most basic ways we understand this is that when we receive something, we say thank you. It's the minimum obligation that we're taught as children. Did you say thank you? Behavioral psychologists have tracked the number of times the word thank you is probably said on any given occasion, on any day of any year. And here's the interesting thing. They said there's one day of the year that thank you is said more than any other day. Can you guess what day that is? Nope, it's not that. Take another try. Nope, not that. Ooh, getting close though. No, not even Thanksgiving. I know, right? What day is it? Halloween. Yeah, Halloween. Trick or treat. You get a treat, you get a piece of candy. And what are you supposed to remember to say? What does your parent or guardian down on the sidewalk say? Did you remember to say thank you? That thank you is said on Halloween more than any other day in the United States. Now this idea of just being a nice person and talking to strangers, I mean a stranger is just someone whose story you haven't heard yet, is the old saying. Well, it happens all the time, and if it's something that you try to practice, you can actually develop the social skills of talking to strangers. Over the holidays, when stores are crowded, lines are long, a lot of people are frustrated, unsure, maybe just a couple happy people. In those settings, I determined that I was going to practice this experience, this thing called reciprocity, where I was going to strike up benign conversations with complete strangers. The people standing around me in line as we waited, I look at their cart and I'm like, oh, have you had that before? Does it taste good? Just an innocuous question. And I would always, every single time, get a response from a complete stranger. One time to the woman in front of me, I said, she had like 6-8 loaves of bread and packs of lunch meat and cheese and condiments and all that. And I said, looks like someone's going to be making a lot of sandwiches. For the next 5 minutes, we got into a conversation about her children, her grandchildren, all the relatives coming to visit, how they all wanted her famous sandwiches, how she used this ingredient, she liked to do it this way, her special sandwich was this, and everybody wanted that sandwich. And by the time we finished the conversation, everybody around us, behind us, beside us in the next line, were all involved in this conversation. Oh, did you ever try this? Do you use that? All of a sudden, we had a community, and that's how reciprocity works. It creates something out of nothing just by being nice. Psychologists and behavioral economists, that's the important part, people who track why we do things with our money, that's the marketing side of things, they all agree that this idea of reciprocity is an ordinary, plain, obvious thing that's happening all around us, but most of us are unaware of it. And as marketers, that's what we're missing. We miss how reciprocity works and how we can use it to be better marketers. At its most basic level, reciprocity is the triggering of a response, a sense of obligation to reply in kind and proportionally, and to do so in a way which gives something of value and receive something of value in return. For example, marketers do this when they give a free ebook, a download, in exchange for personal information, name, email, phone number. Yes, it's ordinary. We see it all around us, happens every day. That's the quid pro quo of our obligation of reciprocity. And that takes us to this next level of reciprocity, and that is proportionality. When I say hello to a stranger, I don't expect them to give me $1 million. And I don't expect something that's of excessive value in response to something of lower value. So I can't ask for birth date and social security number and access to their checking account in exchange for just a free ebook, a 3-page ebook, so I'm trying to capture their information. That's disproportionate. Proportionality needs to be part of successful marketing using this idea of reciprocity. I have to give them something of value, not to me, something of value to them. Now, there is an important warning associated with this, and that is in a world of creeps, at the gym, in uncomfortable situations, at bars, we know how to desocialize ourselves and to avoid reciprocity, and that is we avoid eye contact, we don't respond, we avoid creeps, and we condition ourselves to do this. So we're not talking about those high intensity moments where you're easily exploited by reciprocity. We're talking about those free to come and go moments when we, for example, share in channels, social media channels, or in email marketing, or we advertise, and we offer people things of value to them, but we don't obligate them in the moment to actually respond. So we avoid the creep part of this, and we give them something that is, we portray ourselves as generous givers. We're going to give you something that's of value to you. So in those channels, those sort of passing moments, those kind of take it or leave it opportunities, we're trying to offer something of value that captures their attention, to which then they will share something of value to them, their identity, their contact information, in exchange for something of value that we provide. And we do this, for example, when we offer free webinars and you use the sign-up tool, that portal, as a way of capturing name and contact information, which then becomes a list. And marketers know that until you own the list, those people are not yours to market to. They're just randos out there, and you don't have repeated access to them. The idea is to capture something that then you can develop a relationship in which you're constantly giving them something that they need or want, or perceive that their life would be better if they had. And that brings us to the next important feature of reciprocity, and that is generosity. If we ask too much in return for something of little value, we'll be seen as greedy. To be generous means we give something of value, and there's sort of an equality to it, where they feel that that is the audience, the customer, or your appeal to them is something of equal value, so that you have that relationship. You create that sense of camaraderie or community, and that is where you can cultivate and develop the relationship and increase the level of value and exchange that takes place in that. So our motto can be, it's better to give than to receive, to start off, but we're not just fishing by throwing worms into the pond. That is, we're actually looking for something in response. There is a hook hidden inside that worm, and the goal is to get them to want to take a bite of that worm and to actually want what's on the other end of that line. Okay, here's something that happened just this week, and that is I was heading home from teaching a class at a local university where I work as an adjunct. And it was late at night, and there were two people at home waiting for me, and so I decided I'm going to pull. They both like Shamrock Shakes from McDonald's, so I decided I'm going to pull in and I'm going to get 2 Shamrock Shakes. Pulled up to the drive-through window. Hi, may I take your order? Yes, I'd like 2 Shamrock Shakes. Fine, is that all? Yes. Also, tonight, would you like to give $1 to donate to this nonprofit to help this target group? I said, wow, thanks for asking. That's fantastic, but no thank you, not tonight. And then as I pulled away from the drive-through window where I ordered, I watched my total go from $7.98 to $8.98. Yeah, They added the dollar donation to the charity. It must have been, the person must have been thinking, nobody uses that many words or is that nice to tell me no to a donation. So they added the donation. I pulled around, I paid my $8.98, I got my 2 Shamrock Shakes, and I drove home, gave them to the people waiting for me, and then I went right to my computer and I found that nonprofit. And when I landed on their homepage, here's what I was greeted with. Thank you for giving. How did they know? They didn't know. They treated me like the person that they wanted me to be. They want everyone who finds them to think of themselves as generous, as a giver, as part of their community. They weren't stingy with it. They gave away a compliment that actually worked. Now, if you're not someone who gave accidentally at a McDonald's drive-thru, even that itself calls you, names you, gives you a title, an identity, something that you can embrace and say, yeah, I can think of myself as a generous person. That's the way I see myself, or I want to see myself. And that is, instead of being stingy with it and holding back, let me explain. I've worked for a couple nonprofits, and the people who led them were always stingy with money. They complained about credit card fees for people who wanted to give gifts, but they wanted to use a credit card to do so. And they always asked, well, can you give a little more because we have to pay the credit card fee? Or when they would do a direct mailing, instead of including postage on the return envelope, they would always say, we didn't include postage, so please help us save money by putting that 50 cents worth of postage on your return thing. Yeah, they were stingy in every respect. In fact, one of them once told me, when I wanted to call people, just anybody, like start off a letter to people who randomly were receiving this, I wanted to say to them, thank you for being generous. And they said, no, you can't call them generous because they haven't given yet. That is, they haven't earned it. Earned it? I'm asking people to give me money in exchange for a tote bag or for nothing or for a set of good feelings. And you want to be stingy with the phrase, thank you for giving? Yeah, because they haven't earned it. Here's where we miss it. You see, generosity begets generosity. If we're stingy, we'll be treated as stingy. If we give it away, if we are generous, if we treat people in a way that they see themselves or want to see themselves, they'll start to act that way. They'll start to live that way. They'll start to give or buy that way. And that brings us to this next, a little higher level about reciprocity. And it's called affirmation. That means instead of lecturing people about all that we know about our product or organization or the good we do or how different we are from our competitors and you need to understand, affirmation begins with, you know, you believe, you do understand. This is wrong. You're the kind of person who wants to change this. And you say things like, if you're tired of giving and seeing nothing change, this is your opportunity to actually see what you want happening in the world, how to cause it to happen, or that problem that you want to solve. Here's your chance to stop wasting money and to get it solved. That is, affirmation it draws a circle in which not only you, your organization, your team, your sales, your product, your service, you're not the insiders to it. You draw a broader circle that includes the audience that you want to take advantage of your service or become part of your organization or identify with you or give to you. By drawing that larger circle and affirming that they understand, it's a corollary of that webpage that greeted me with the congratulations, thank you for giving. It draws that bigger circle. That kind of affirmation builds community. That kind of affirmation gives people the right set of feelings that actually they will elevate to the next level because they want more of it. They want to participate in it deeper or at a greater level, and they'll move from the $9.99 version to the $15.99 version because they want to feel even more of the goodness that you've created by that circle. And that kind of affirmation is a storytelling level. And that is that we create a world in which the audience, our readers, the community that we want to be there, that we create the space for them and they get to read themselves in the story. They don't see themselves as outsiders who don't understand how wonderful our product is or how wonderful we are. But instead it creates a circle in which they're being addressed, their problems are being solved, and that we show certain things. We show understanding, we show empathy. When we are able to faithfully narrate the problem and their problem, and create a solution that's doable. Not just magically, if you give money, X will happen, but rather we're able to show them how their actual problem is relieved, their needs are met, or how their goals are fulfilled. We're doing the storytelling, the messaging of that inclusive, bigger circle. And that's what begets, through reciprocity, a community that is a repeat customer, LTV. So the cost of acquiring a customer, CAC, is being able to be generous, give it away, and to practice affirmation and make reciprocity work for you. The result is LTV, the lifetime value of that relationship that we create through reciprocity. And you know what? I believe you're smart enough to take reciprocity seriously in your marketing. That's who you are. I can tell. I think you're smart enough to make reciprocity an important part of your marketing. And thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. Please, could you tap the like button? Because it does really help. And while you're down there, how about you subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. I'm so glad you found me, and I found you. Thanks.
I love that you get cold when it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I love that you get a little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts. I love that after I spend a day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And I love that you are the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night.
If it wasn't for you, I never would have even made it here. So thank you.